Hello, and welcome to the French Kiss Life podcast, all about living with more elegance, style, and joie de vivre in your everyday life. I'm Tonya Lee, your hostess. Let's get started. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I have to brag on myself really quickly because I am right now indulging in one of the best cappuccinos I've ever made for myself. I'm telling you, I would put it right up there with some of the cappuccinos I've had in Italy. And y'all know about those Italians and their cappuccinos. Pretty good, right? And I don't know what I did differently. I'm trying to recreate this recipe because it's that good. But you know what? I'm so grateful for everything. In fact, I woke up this morning and I just looked outside and I'm like, you know what? The sun came up and I didn't have to make that happen. How amazing is that? And right now I'm looking at these gorgeous tulips. They're like orange and yellow and they're starting to open up and they're just stunningly beautiful. And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for my new iPhone X, which by the way, I have to say the camera on this new iPhone is ridiculous. It is so good. I mean, I'm looking around and there's so much to be grateful for. And that's what I want to talk about on this podcast. I want to talk about two simple words that will turn your life into a grand romance. So I was raised in the South, and I was taught to always say these two simple words to any act of consideration or kindness. And I'm sure you already know what they are. Thank you. And if I didn't, when I was growing up, it would get me into serious trouble, like a backhand. I grew up in a house where we got spankings and we got disciplined pretty hardcore. And I'm grateful for it. But growing up, there seemed to be so much to be thankful for. And that's one of the things I think the beauty of growing up with less is that you're so thankful for the smallest things. I'll never forget Christmases where if I got the thing that I'd asked for, it was amazing. And usually I didn't ask for big things because I knew my parents couldn't afford it. But I was just grateful for even the smallest things. A pack of candy would get me excited. And I'll never forget, there was this one time that we were taking a road trip, and we stayed at a Motel 6, and it had a swimming pool, which for me was a big deal. It didn't matter that it was only 4 feet deep and enclosed with a chain link fence and highway traffic zooming by. I remember I said, "Thanks, Daddy," when he splurged on the $40 room that we all crammed into. I was so grateful. But it's time for some Tonya tough love. And I'm giving this to myself as well. We grown-ups are acting like spoiled children. A thank you shouldn't be just for teaching your kids about good manners, and it shouldn't be reserved for only people or extravagant things. Life in general deserves a huge thank you, don't you think? Every single day, we are offered gifts that we often take for granted. For example, if you're listening to this, it tells me you have some kind of technology that allows you to listen. If you're breathing, it tells me you're still here and you have health, or at least you have the ability to create health. Again, the sun came up today and we didn't have to make that happen. And yet we've all done it, complaining about things that others would be so grateful for. It has helped me tremendously to have perspective and to call myself out when I'm acting like a spoiled brat. Here's what it sounds like. And for entertainment value, add whining voice here. I don't like my job. I don't have enough. I have so much laundry to do. I don't like my house. They get to go there and I don't. Do you like my whining? Let's see, what are some more? She got a promotion and I didn't. I don't like my body. It's not fair that it's so easy for her. I don't have anything to wear. I don't make enough money. Why do I have to live here? Geez, just hearing me sound like that makes me want to not do it. But I'll be the first to say, I have acted like a spoiled kid as an adult. And what I know, the worst years of my life were the years that I forgot my manners. And for me, manners growing up meant that you said thank you. And if you didn't, you were considered poorly raised. My mom would say that child has no manners. And for that to be said about your child is a Southern parent's worst nightmare. And if y'all were raised in the South like I was, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm not proud to admit this, but I need to. At one point in my adulthood, I forgot my manners. In fact, I had become that spoiled, rotten child that my parents feared. I was constantly focused on all that I thought was wrong with my life and comparing my life to others. I was treating the universe like an ATM machine with my constant give me attitude and then complaining when I didn't get it. One of my worst moments, and this is so embarrassing to admit, but I have to because I want you all to know that you're not alone. We've all been spoiled rotten at some point in our life. But I became upset when my room service was 30 minutes late. Okay, you tell me what is wrong with that picture. Number one, I'm sitting in a hotel that offers room service. How amazing is that? Number two, I can order room service. Amazing, right? And then, like a miracle, they show up at my door with food on a tray. I don't even have to go out and get it. And there's food, beautiful food to nourish myself with. And I'm complaining because it's 30 minutes late. I'm really embarrassed that that happened. And this is not to say you can't make requests and that you shouldn't be upset with when things don't go your way. But when I looked at my behavior, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I realized, wow, I've really lost perspective because that little girl that I used to be would just be grateful she was in a hotel and not a motel, number one. And the fact that she could get room service would be the best thing ever. But no, I had to complain that it was 30 minutes late. How dare they? I can just imagine my mama smacking me good for that one. And in that moment, I started to miss the younger me who was so grateful for the little things, the things that I had started to overlook and take for granted in my adult life. My attitude was not only keeping me stuck in toxic complaining and comparison, but it was robbing me of the magic of everyday moments that I had forgotten to see. It was also making it impossible to create what I deeply wanted, which is joy. What I know is a thank you is 100,000 times more powerful than I hate this. We often think that we have to hate where we are and resist it in order to change it. But what I've come to discover is that this attitude only keeps you stuck with a bad attitude and circumstances that never change. A grateful heart will attract more into your life than you ever imagined. When I find myself acting like a spoiled baby about a flight delay, I switch it to how amazing it is that I'm able to fly somewhere at 30,000 feet in the air. I mean, seriously, it used to take people months to travel that far. Thank you, life. Thank you. And just this morning, I found myself acting a bit spoiled. My daughter called to tell me that she had a headache all night, and I found myself thinking, not again, why her? Then I thought about the parents of the kids who died in the high school shooting in Florida who will never receive a call from their children again. And suddenly I just started getting teary-eyed. And I was like, thank you, life. I got the call. And yeah, she may be having a headache. We will address it. We will get her better. But right now, I'm just super grateful that I was a mother who received that call. Here's what I want you to know. Life is handing you gifts every single day. Are you saying thank you? Imagine if you gave someone a gift and she complains about it. Wouldn't you consider that rude? Yet that's what a lot of people are doing with life. Every day we wake up and experience so many things to be grateful for, yet in a society that's constantly wanting more from a state of not enough, we fail to see all the things that we already have. I want you to take a moment and imagine how you'd feel if you really stopped to notice the little treasures in your daily life that you've been overlooking. In fact, do it right now. Just to look around you and notice all that you do have. Do you feel that shift? Do you feel how good that feels? I'll tell you how I feel when I say thank you to life on a regular basis. I start to fall in love with my life as it is right now. And do you know what I've discovered? The more you love life, the more life loves you back. So if you want to know the reason why my life feels like a grand romance, it's because of one thing. It's because I say thank you on a regular basis. I'm often asked how I got to where I am today, and there are many things I could share with you, but at the core, it's because I stopped acting like a spoiled brat. I made how I feel my number one priority, and gratitude is one of my favorite practices to shift my state of being in a skinny minute. I stopped complaining and blaming and waiting. I quit the whole my life will be better one day when attitude and started appreciating the life I have right now. You know, the whole my life will be better one day is just a toxic cycle of delaying your own joy and your own happiness. You know, when people want to know how to create what they want, start wanting what you already have. Start being grateful for what you have in this moment, because here's why it's so powerful. You start to feel better. And when you feel better, you take better actions. And those better actions create better results in your life. So I want you to be honest with yourself right now, with no judgment. Have you been acting and behaving like a spoiled adult? You're not alone. We all have. And again, please don't beat yourself up, because that's just a different flavor of the same problem. Instead, I want to challenge you to turn it around. Are you ready? I'm going to give you a 7-day thank you challenge, also known as the daily practice that changed my life. So I have this friend who seriously is grateful for everything. I could give her a single sock and she'd gush for hours. And she's so lovely to be around, because in her presence, for me, I feel like that kid again who realized how much there is to be grateful for. So years ago, she inspired me to start a thank you practice where I say thank you to the simplest of moments. Sometimes I say it aloud, sometimes it's like an internal prayer. But what I know is that my life has changed dramatically because of this practice. So here's how it works. I'm going to share some of the ways I've practiced this in my own life. And I've learned to say thank you for things that I used to overlook or even complain about. So here's some examples. Thank you for the everyday miracles that I once took for granted. Thank you to food on my table, a sunrise and a sunset, waking up and taking a breath, the beautiful trees outside my bedroom window, the ability to see, smell, feel, hear, and taste, my body that allows me to experience life, running water that allows me to take a warm shower. For some people, that is a luxury. And for us, it's an everyday occurrence that we often overlook. Also, thank you for the things I wanted and now have. For example, my daughter, a man I adore, my dogs, a fabulous team I get to work with every day, my computer, my business, loving parents, a home. Also, thank you for the things I get to experience, such as hikes on a spring day, cooking dinner, writing about things I'm passionate about, doing this podcast, meeting up with friends, loving others, travel. There's also thank you for the things that I used to complain about, such as washing the dishes. Now I am so grateful that I have these gorgeous dishes to wash. Folding the laundry. Now it's like, doesn't this basket of clean laundry that I get to fold just smell absolutely amazing? Isn't it amazing that I have clothes that I get to launder? How amazing is that? Also, taking out the trash. How lucky am I that the trash man comes all the way to my house to pick up my garbage every single week? How lucky am I that I have an abundance of things that I have trash? It's amazing. Thank you. Here's one, paying the bills. I love, and I'm so thankful for the sense of responsibility that paying bills on time gives me. And I know deep down in my heart that money flows in and out of my life when I'm living in a state of gratitude. I am so grateful that I have these bills to pay. Thank you. Oh, here's another one, cleaning up dog poop. I've turned it into, you know what? My dogs give me so much joy. And I know that if the roles were reversed, they'd totally do it for me. Thank you. And then here's a big one. I used to complain about my body. Now I love every unique part of my body, and it makes me uniquely me. And without it, you know what? I wouldn't be who I am. And I love me. My body allows me to walk, run, and dance. It carries me through this experience of life. I thank it all day, every day. This attitude of thank you doesn't just stop with what I presently have or experience. Just like blessing my meal before eating, I like to bless my future with gratitude. So you can also say thank you ahead of time for things that you've yet to experience but are excited for. So for me, I'm already saying thank you to creating more in-person experiences for the French Kiss Life community. I'm already saying thank you for my daughter's improving health. I'm already saying thank you for more belly laugh connections with friends and more travel to exotic places and also to publishing a book. Thank you in advance. Here's the thing, when we give thanks rather than complain, our life really does start to feel like a grand romance. We wake up to all that's in abundance. We wake up to the incredible gifts that are given to us every single day, and we often just fail to recognize it. Here's what I believe. It's human nature to want more. And I think that's a beautiful thing. But if you can't appreciate what you already have, why do you deserve more? Wanting from a place of abundance and joy is a whole different experience. And a woman in love is a magical creature, don't you think? So I want you to think about what deserves a thank you in your life, because lucky for us, there's always something to be thankful for. And that is what French Kissing Life is all about. So I want to challenge you to start a 7-day thank you challenge right now. Look around where you are in this moment and look for what you want to say thank you to and thank you for. And notice how you feel after 7 days of saying thank you to life. I promise you this, you're going to feel a lot better than complaining and resisting your life. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next podcast. Cheers. Thank you.